Time limit for provisional assessment. Presently, the Customs Act 1962 does not provide any time limit to finalize provisional assessments, leading to uncertainty and cost to trade. As a measure of promoting ease of doing business, I propose to fix a time limit of 2 years, extendable by a year, for finalizing the provisional assessment. I propose to introduce a new provision that will enable importers or exporters, after clearance of goods, to voluntarily declare material facts and pay duty with interest but without penalty. This will incentivize voluntary compliance. However, this will not apply in cases where department has already initiated audit or investigation proceedings. For industry to better plan their imports, I propose to extend the time limit for the end use of imported inputs in the relevant rules from 6 months to 1 year. This will provide operational flexibility in view of cost and uncertainty of supply. Further, such importers will now have to file only quarterly statements instead of a monthly statement. I now come to my direct tax proposals. In Part A, I have briefly underlined taxation reforms as one of key reforms to realize our vision of Vikasit Bharat. In respect of criminal law, our government had earlier ushered in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, replacing Bharatiya Danda Sanhita. I am happy to inform this august House and the country that for new income tax bill will carry forward the same spirit of Nyaya in its drafting as well. The new bill will be clear and direct in text, with close to half of the present law in terms of both chapters and words. It will be simple to understand for taxpayers and tax administrators, leading to tax certainty and reduced litigation. Reforms, however, are not a destination. They are means to achieve good governance for our people and economy. Providing good governance primarily involves being responsive. The Tirukural captures this in verse 542, which reads, "Vaanokki vaazhum ulagallam, mannavan kol nokki vaazhum kudi," meaning, just as the living beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. Our government is committed to keeping an ear to the ground and a finger on the pulse and responding while balancing our national building efforts. The following measures will detail just how our government will, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address. I repeat that sentence, sir. The following measures will detail just how our government, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address the needs voiced by our citizens. My tax proposals are guided by this spirit. The objectives of my proposals are as follows. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class. Rationalization of TDS and TCS for easing difficulties. Encouraging voluntary compliance. Reducing compliance burden. Ease of doing business. Employment and investment. I will come to my proposal on personal income tax towards the end. TDS and TCS, rationalization for easing difficulties. I propose to rationalize tax deduction at source, TDS, by reducing the number of rates and thresholds above which TDS is deducted. Further, threshold amounts for tax deduction will be increased for better clarity and uniformity. The limit for tax deduction on interest for senior citizens is being doubled from the present 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Similarly, the annual limit of 2.40 lakh rupees for TDS on rent is being increased to 6 lakh rupees. This will reduce the number of transactions liable to TDS, thus benefiting small taxpayers receiving small payments. The threshold to collect tax at source, the TCS, on remittances under RBI's liberalized remittance scheme, the LRS, is proposed to be increased from 7 lakh to 10 lakhs. I also propose to remove TCS on remittances for education purposes, where such remittances is out of a loan taken from a specified financial institution. Both TDS and TCS are being applied on any transaction related to sale of goods. To prevent such compliance difficulties, I propose to omit the TCS. I also propose that the provisions of the higher TDS deduction will now apply only in non-PAN cases. In July 2024, the delay for payment of TDS up to the due date of filing statement was decriminalized. I propose to provide the same relaxation to TCS provisions as well. The government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas. In line with this, we brought in updated return facility in 2022 for voluntary compliance by taxpayers who had omitted to report their correct income. Our trust in taxpayers was proved right. Nearly 90 lakh taxpayers voluntarily updated their incomes by paying additional tax. Taking this trust further, I now propose to extend the time limit to file updated returns for any assessment year from the current limit of 2 years to 4 years. I propose to reduce the compliance burden for small charitable trusts and institutions by increasing their period of registration from 5 years to 10 years. It is also proposed that disproportionate consequences do not arise for minor defaults, such as incomplete applications filed by charitable entities. Presently, taxpayers can claim the annual value of self-occupied properties as nil only on the fulfillment of certain conditions. Considering the difficulties faced by taxpayers, it is proposed to allow the benefit of 2 such self-occupied properties without any condition. To streamline the process of transfer pricing and to provide an alternative to yearly examination, I propose to introduce a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years. This will be in line with global best practices. With a view to reduce litigation and provide certainty in international taxation, the scope of safe harbor rules is being expanded. A number of senior and very senior citizens have very old national savings schemes accounts. As interest is no longer payable on such accounts, I propose to exempt withdrawals made from NSS by individuals on or after 29th August 2024. I am also proposing to allow similar treatment to NPS Vatsalya accounts as is available to normal NPS accounts subject to overall limits. In my speech in July 2024, I had promised that all processes, including giving effect to appellate orders, shall be digitalized and made paperless over the next 2 years. So I'm happy to announce that digitalization is being made operational now. In July 2024, we brought in the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme to resolve income tax disputes pending in appeal. The scheme has received a great response, with nearly 33,000 taxpayers having availed of the scheme to settle their disputes. I have a few proposals to promote investment and employment. It is proposed to provide a presumptive taxation regime for non-residents who provide services to a resident company that is establishing or operating an electronics manufacturing facility. I further propose to introduce a safe harbor for tax certainty for non-residents who store components for supply to specified electronics manufacturing units. Presently, the tonnage tax scheme is available only to sea-going ships. The benefits of existing tonnage tax scheme are proposed to be extended to inland vessels registered under the Indian Vessels Act 2021 to promote inland water transport in the country. Extension for incorporation of startups. We continue to support the Indian startup ecosystem. I propose to extend the period of incorporation by 5 years to allow the benefit available to startups which are incorporated before 1/4/2030. In order to attract and promote additional activities in the IFSC, I am inter alia proposing specific benefits to ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers of global companies which are set up in IFSC. Further, to claim benefits, the cut-off date for commencement in IFSC has also been extended by 5 years to 31/3/2030. Category 1 and Category 2 AIFs are undertaking investments in infrastructure and other such sectors. I propose to provide certainty of taxation to these entities on the gains from securities, to promote funding from sovereign wealth funds and pension funds to the infrastructure sector. I propose to extend the date of making an investment by 5 more years up to 31st March 2030. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class. Democracy, demography, and demand are the key support pillars in our journey towards Vikasit Bharat. The middle class provides strength for India's growth. This government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, has always believed in the admirable energy and ability of the middle class in nation building. In recognition of their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right after 2014, the nil tax slab was raised to 2.5 lakhs of rupees, which was further raised to 5 lakh rupees in 2019 and to 7 lakh rupees in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle-class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees. So, average income of 1 lakh per month, other than the special rate income such as capital gains, under the new regime. This limit will be 12.75 lakh for salaried taxpayers due to the standard deduction of 75,000. Slabs and rates are being changed across the board to benefit all taxpayers. The new structure will substantially reduce the taxes of the middle class and leave more money in their hands, boosting household consumption, savings and investment. In the new tax regime, I propose to revise tax rate structures as follows: 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil, 4.8 lakh rupees to 4 to 8 lakh rupees 5%, 8 to 12 lakh rupees 10%, 12 to 16 lakh rupees 15%, 16 to 20 lakh rupees 20%, 20 to 24 lakh rupees 25%, and above 24 lakh rupees 30%. To taxpayers up to 12 lakh of normal income, other than special rate income such as capital gains. I read that again. To taxpayers up to 12 lakh of income, other than special rate income such as capital gains, tax rebate is being provided in addition to the benefit due to slab rate reduction in such a manner that there is no tax payable by them. The total tax benefit of slab rate changes and rebate at different income levels can be illustrated with a few examples. A taxpayer in the new regime with an income of 12 lakh rupees will get a benefit of 80,000 rupees in tax, which is 100% of tax payable as per the existing rates. A person having income of 18 lakh rupees will get a benefit of 70,000 rupees in tax, that is 30% of tax payable as per existing rates. A person with an income of 25 lakh gets a benefit of 1,10,000 rupees, that is 25% of his tax payable as per existing rates. Details of my tax proposals are given in the annexure. As a result of these proposals, Honourable Speaker, sir, revenue of about 1 lakh crore in direct taxes and 2,600 crores in indirect taxes will be foregone. Mr. Speaker, sir, with this, I commend the budget to this august House.
Item number 2, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table the following statements under Section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. Medium-term fiscal policy cum fiscal policy strategy statement and macroeconomic framework statement.
Item number 3, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to move for leave to introduce the Finance Bill 2025.
प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ कहें, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना कहें। मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में अनुमति प्रदान की जाती है। माननीय मंत्री जी, अब विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करें।
Sir, I introduce the bill.
थैंक यू। सभा की कार्रवाई सोमवार दिनांक 3 फरवरी 2025 को प्राप्त 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
What is indirect tax? In the case of indirect tax, the burden of tax can be shifted by the taxpayer to someone else. Indirect tax has the effect of raising the price of the products on which they are imposed. Customs duty, central excise, service tax and value-added tax are examples of indirect tax.
महात्मा गांधी एक प्रखर लेखक और संपादक भी थे। उनके विचार जन जन तक पहुंचाने में पत्र पत्रिकाएं, डायरी एवं पुस्तकें एक सशक्त माध्यम बनी। संसदीय पुस्तकालय में उनके लेखन को समर्पित एक संपूर्ण अनुभाग की स्थापना 9 अगस्त 1978 को की गई, जिसे नाम दिया गया गांधीयाना। इस अनुभाग में अंग्रेजी, हिंदी एवं अन्य क्षेत्रीय भाषाओं की 5000 से ज्यादा पुस्तकें उपलब्ध हैं। यहाँ महात्मा गांधी के संपूर्ण लेखन कार्यों का संग्रह अंग्रेजी, हिंदी और गुजराती में उपलब्ध है। गांधी जी के अंत समय तक उनके साथ रहने वाली मनुबेन की पुस्तक बापू माय मदर, लुई फिशर की पुस्तक द लाइफ ऑफ महात्मा गांधी इस संग्रह का हिस्सा है। यह अनुभाग महात्मा गांधी के कार्यों, उनकी जिंदगी, उनके लेखन के बारे में गहराई से अध्ययन करने वाले सांसदों, शोधार्थियों के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है।
What is Consolidated Fund? The Consolidated Fund is made up of all revenues and loans raised by the government. It also includes receipts from recoveries of loans granted by it. All government expenses are paid out of the Consolidated Fund. No amount can be withdrawn from this fund without Parliament's approval.
भारतीय सनातन संस्कृति का महाआयोजन महाकुंभ इस बार मात्र आध्यात्मिक, सांस्कृतिक, आस्था व श्रद्धा को ही समर्पित नहीं होगा। इस महाकुंभ इस बार विश्व देखेगा भारत की डिजिटल शक्ति, प्रबंधन शक्ति, पर्यावरण संरक्षण और लोक संस्कृति। डिजिटल शक्ति से लैस महाकुंभ में यात्रियों के लिए है डिजिटल सहायक, जो 10 विभिन्न भाषाओं में महाकुंभ
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to this post-budget analysis telecast on Sansad TV. I am Tina Jha. With me is my colleague Manoj Verma. So, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has presented the Union Budget for the year 2025-26 in Parliament, which was her 8th consecutive budget presentation, and in which she outlined the core priorities of Budget 2025, emphasizing 5 key objectives, which are driving economic growth, ensuring inclusive development, boosting private sector investment, strengthening household consumption, enhancing the spending power of India's expanding middle class. The Finance Minister said this budget aims at transformative reforms in 6 areas, which include taxation, financial sector, the power sector, urban development, mining and regulatory reforms. Also aiming to stimulate economic expansion, enhance infrastructure, improve governance and promote sustainable development across multiple sectors. She reiterated that these remain central to the government's agenda. We'll be talking about some of these broad objectives that the government has outlined in greater detail with distinguished experts who are joining us on the program. I'm delighted to welcome in the studio Dr. Priyadarshi Dash, Associate Professor at Research and Information System for Developing Countries, New Delhi. And also joining us virtually is Professor M.K. Agarwal, Professor of Economics, Lucknow University. मनोज
जी बिल्कुल जाहिर तौर पे जिस तरह के ऐलान किए गए हैं इस वित्त बजट में उसको लेकर अपेक्षा भी थी और वित्त मंत्री जी ने जो इनकम टैक्स को लेकर 12 लाख का जो ऐलान किया वो एक तरह से बड़ा तोहफा है। जाहिर सी बात है, समावेशी विकास की बात है, विकास को कैसे गति दी जाए इस पे जोर दिया गया है बजट में, खासतौर से शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य के जरिए एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत और साथ ही विकसित भारत का लक्ष्य ये फोकस है पूरे बजट का। लेकिन इसके अलग अलग पहलू हैं जिन पर हम चर्चा करेंगे, उन सभी पहलुओं से आपको अवगत कराने की कोशिश करेंगे जिनका उल्लेख वित्त मंत्री जी ने अपने बजट में किया है। टीना,
Absolutely. So we'll get into the sector specific allocations, the kind of focus that the government has provided to the middle class, to different sectors as well. But before that, let me get in the first reaction from the guest we have with us in the studio. Professor, your first thoughts on this budget. How do you see it building up on the budget which was presented soon after the election 6 months ago?
I think you are right. The finance minister presented the budget which sort of prepares the blueprint for the Viksit Bharat, and this is a continuation of the stand they have taken in the last 4-5 years to prepare the country to meet the emerging challenges of meeting sustainable development, making a smooth energy transition towards clean and other areas, solar energy and other areas. So if I see the budget, this sort of tells that story in a very deeper way compared to the past. This time you see that they have gone into the sectors, infrastructure sectors that are crucial to maintain economic growth. Ji. But at the same time, how to address the vulnerabilities that people are facing. We are growing, but we have price rises. By ensuring higher medical coverage, by bringing more life-saving drugs to the scheme, John this scheme and others. So there's a kind of blend of the growth objective with social security measures, taking into account the specific challenges faced by the manufacturing sectors, MSME sectors. So overall, the budget is more of a roadmap for the future India that we can visualize in the next 20-30 years. But of course, the immediate priority would be that people see that how the taxation reforms has happened. And it's a great relief for the people at least up to 1 lakh of their income, they are not liable to pay any tax. So overall it looks a balanced budget.
So, it's a huge relief for the middle class, but that is one aspect, the taxation part that we'll come to in just a bit. Professor Agarwal, what would be some of the significant takeaways for you, particularly from this budget? Does it meet the expectations that all of us and the different sectors had from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman?
See, as far as expectation of different sectors, it is never completed. But whatever we discussed and whatever we aspired for the, taking the economy forward at very high pace, while taking all on board, that is the inclusive growth strategy and pushing the economy forward, we believe that whatever we discussed in the morning, that came true. Whether it is for the middle class benefits, and in terms of middle class benefits, definitely it is the direct tax benefit. Other than that, there has been a procedural, you can say, smoothness that has been conducted. Senior citizens have been taken care of. Besides, if you are looking at the things through this, what has Nirmala Sitharaman has done is, that is linking it with the growth strategy. It is not simply a dole out to the, in terms